Alright, we should be live now. Alright, yeah. Like always, we're gonna be writing some stuff. Just because I can. Who's gonna tell me not? Of course not. No one's gonna tell me no. So we have a few videos that we're gonna be looking at. And yeah, man, I just find some videos interesting and I like to react to them. That's pretty much what this channel is about. And what I like doing also, I just like watching FIFA videos. Not FIFA, no. I just read FIFA. I'm not interested in this whole. Alright, one second. Alright, start recording. Let's see how that looks. Just give me a second. Alright, looks good to be honest. Alright, let's look at it. Alright. So we're going to be reacting to 3 a.m. explained simply by something horror. Alright, let's see what's up. 3 a.m. 3 a.m. 3 a.m. 3 a.m.
It was 2017, and the YouTube algorithm had a favorite child. The 3 a.m. video. You know the type,
3 a.m.
blurry footage of someone sneaking into an abandoned asylum, whispering through cracked walls or chanting Bloody Mary into a dusty mirror. Back then, it was terrifying. To a kid, it felt like watching something you shouldn't, something dangerous. But as the trend went on, it got weirder, goofier even. Suddenly, people were FaceTiming Elmo at 3 in the morning or unboxing possessed Happy Meals in the dark. The fear turned into cringe. But here's the thing, even when the trend faded into parody, the time, 3 a.m., never stopped being creepy. Even now, as a former scared of the dark child and a current sleep-deprived adult, something about 3 a.m. still feels wrong. You're up late finishing.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I'm that one person that still feels like weirded out. Because I stay up on my phone. Restart this. There's a lot of people that stay up until like 4, 3, sometimes even all night. They stay up all night on their phones, or maybe like teenagers that just mainly just people that like to stay on their phone late. That once, for me at least, once it gets to like 3 o'clock, 2:30, I'm like, I gotta go to sleep. Just because part of me still believes in a way that bad things just happen at 3 in the morning. Not in the sense that like something creepy, it's just that next day you're gonna be tired and you probably got shit to do, so you should probably go to sleep.
A paper or staring at the ceiling in silence, and
stuttering,
there it is again. That unease, that feeling of being watched. So why?
Yeah.
Why is 3 a.m. still scary, even when we know better? Let's start with the oldest explanation. Folklore. Historically, 3 a.m. is often referred to as the devil's hour or witching hour. Depending on where you're from, it's believed to be the time when the veil between the living and the dead is at its thinnest. In Western tradition, 3 in the morning is said to mock the Holy Trinity, being the exact opposite of 3 p.m., the time Jesus supposedly died. That's why some believe demonic forces are strongest at this hour. Witches, spirits, demons, you name it. They're all supposedly more active between 3 and 4 in the morning. There are old stories of people waking up at exactly 3 in the morning before experiencing something terrifying. And even if you don't believe in any of that, the stories stick. The imagery lingers because we grew up with them. Alright, so maybe you're not into ghosts and demons, fair.
Dude, I don't know why that Wi-Fi on the top right. It just looks so familiar. I don't know why I recognize it so much. I feel like I know it from somewhere. I just don't know where. That creepy ass face, I feel like I've seen it like, I don't know, some Roblox horror fucking game or some creepy story back in the day. on some YouTube video. I don't know about some Minecraft or something like that. I don't know why. It just seems unsettling.
So let's talk about your brain. Around 3 in the morning, your circadian rhythm, the internal clock that regulates sleep, is at its lowest point. Your body temperature drops, your blood pressure is low, and melatonin, the hormone that makes you sleepy, is peaking. If you happen to wake up during this time, your brain is in sleep inertia, that groggy half-awake state where nothing makes sense. So you're vulnerable, you're disoriented, and in that state your mind can misinterpret shadows, or even sounds, turning harmless things into threats. A coat on a chair becomes a figure, a creak in the hallway becomes footsteps. Your brain, half asleep, tries to protect you by assuming the worst. It's biology, not ghosts, but your body doesn't know the difference.
Damn. The
Now
sounds of
add
3
the
in the morning.
environment to the mix. 3 in the morning is the quietest time of the night. No traffic, no people, just stillness. And when the world is silent,
Really is like that
your
though.
brain gets louder. Small noises feel amplified. The wind feels more eerie. A dripping faucet feels like a countdown. If you woke up at 3 p.m., you'd hear life outside your window. Birds, cars, conversations. Yet you'd feel connected to the world. But at 3 in the morning, it feels like you're the last person on earth. That isolation makes even the calmest mind wander the dark places. We're so
Dude, I feel like those are the best times to watch a scary movie. Sorry. I feel like those are the times to. Sorry, I can't fucking speak. I always stutter, bro. I feel like those are the best times to watch a scary movie because I feel like your mind will be more into it if you will actually feel scared. Because if you end up watching a scary movie like, I don't know, The Conjuring or, I don't know, Annabelle at like 2 in the afternoon, you're just a pussy. Come on, man. Watch it at night. That's the whole fucking point of watching a movie that's scary. For you to be scared, not for you to end up laughing at it.
creatures, and being alone, like truly alone, at the darkest part of the night, it triggers something inside of ourselves.
Stories, pop culture, and physiological priming.
Let's not forget what we've watched and heard. 3 a.m. has become a horror symbol in media. From classic ghost stories to horror movies to creepypasta and of course YouTube.
Creepypasta, that's what it was.
The more you hear about something scary happening at 3 in the morning, the more your brain connects that time to fear. It's called psychological priming. So now, when you see that time flash on your phone, your heart skips. You're waiting for something bad to happen, even if nothing ever does. And this effect is even stronger on kids whose imaginations are still wild and unfiltered. Every shadow could be a monster. Every creak could mean something is watching. And let's be real.
Dude, I don't know. Have you guys ever like looked at, I don't know, like your closet at middle of the night? Or let's say 3 a.m., for example, when you guys were kids. Because this happened to me many, many times. I would look at a certain direction in my room, and they would have like the silhouette of like a creature or something that was like staring back at me. Or if I looked from something that was like kind of far away and was like dark, it looked like a silhouette of somebody standing there or something like looking back at me. I hated that feeling. But for some reason, I thought the best option was to just fucking stand still and maybe they won't see me. And it was probably just a fucking jacket just hanging at the corner of your room. That's what will happen to me.
We love to be scared. We seek out those stories. We watch those 3 a.m. videos knowing they freak us out. It's a game we play with ourselves.
Yeah. Perfect storm of fear. Okay.
So why is 3 in the morning scary? Because it's the perfect mix. It's folklore passed down through generations. It's the time your body is weakest and your brain is confused. It's isolation and silence turning harmless shapes into threats. It's media planting ideas that grow in the dark. It's the closet door slightly open. The creaking floorboard, the mirror you avoid looking into. Even when we outgrow the jump scares and silly YouTube trends, that fear still lingers. Now shaped by experience, knowledge, and the occasional late-night existential dread. So, if you wake up at 3 in the morning tonight and feel like something's watching you, Just ignore it and go back to sleep. You still got work tomorrow, by the way. Hey.
Dude. The more I think about it, I just have so many memories of me like staying up until like 3 in the morning that it was mostly just playing games. But once it got to 3 o'clock, I was like, alright, it's time to go to sleep, or there's gonna be some demon chasing after me. Or, I don't know, what was that one thing called? Sleep paralysis? I don't know why I strongly believe that if I stayed up until like 3 in the morning, I would get sleep paralysis 100%. I don't know if that was just me. But there was some nights that I would just stay up all night. I did not care at all. Or I would just forget about it. But yeah, man. I made some video, I loved it. And let's move on to our next one. Just kind of scared to think about 3 a.m. Just because so many bad things. It's also, you should not be awake at 3 a.m. at all. That should not be a thing that you should be doing at all. You should have been asleep 3 a.m. At least like once you get older. I can understand it when you're a kid. Don't really have much to do the next day, probably. Okay, that's fine. But if you're like 32-year-old staying up until 3 in the morning, what the fuck are you doing? Or like just a 24-year-old, 23. Fuck it. No, doesn't even have to be that old. Alright. That's the recording. Now let's go into our next video. Let's see.
When you list on apartments.com, renters will start coming out of the woodwork.
Shut up. My God, dude. This guy.
I rely on Grammarly heavily in my day-to-day.
I was watching the 19...
It's just my headphones are loud. I think my headphones are just way too loud, dude. Alright. Alright. So we're going to be watching Here's Why You Want a Really Boring Job, How Money Works by, How Money Works.
1999 movie Office Space the other day, a comedy set at the peak of the 1990s corporate culture. It is one of my all-time favorite movies, but the more I watch it, the more I notice something. The core of this comedy is its cynical commentary on working a boring job at a boring company, but the more I watch it, the better the jobs of Peter and his coworkers look. Because it's a comedy, the writers took a lot of creative liberties to make Peter's working environment especially terrible. But even still, 20 years later, it doesn't look that bad. His office cubicle would be a luxury to most workers today in an open-plan office with no walls in sight. He is allowed to go on extended lunches with his colleagues, and even his over-dramatized shitty boss knows that working on a weekend is a big ask rather than an expectation. This made me think of the classic anecdote. Find a job you love, and you will never work a day in your life. Most of us go to work...
Do you guys believe that? I think yes in a way, but it's also kind of hard to find something that you love and make it a job. To the vast majority of people. Obviously it's possible, yes. There's people that have done things that they love, but I don't feel like people love it. I feel like most people are just there for the money and then it's just work. And they don't want to work. That's the reality of it. But then again, they need money, so fuck it, they have to do something.
Work because we have to,
Yeah,
not because we want to. And that means a lot of us are stuck spending a good portion of our waking hours doing things that aren't very enjoyable. A cunning strategy that school career planners and LinkedIn gurus will promote to get around this unfortunate predicament is to find a job that you love doing so that you are excited to go to work every day and you don't feel like you are working at all. On the surface, this sounds sensible. Now more than ever, with new technologies, there are millions of different job titles out there with new professions and career paths being made every single day. My job as a now full-time YouTuber didn't exist 15 years ago, but now it's the career that children want most, beating out traditionally popular options like astronaut. But I want to do what honestly, I do best.
Fuck it. I'm an example of that. I'm out here trying to make it on Google. I'm an example of that. I'm out here trying to make YouTube videos. Just to, by any chance, maybe a miracle. Just because of the small chance, maybe it's a fucking miracle that I might get paid to do this. Because right now I'm just doing this just because I don't have any type of donation. I don't have anybody that's going to be paying me to watch this. Not yet, at least, but maybe 3, 4 years down the line, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, I have maybe an audience that can actually find me funny or some shit. Fuck it. That would be the dream. YouTube career, yeah, you can do whatever you want. Streamer. Go look at all the fucking bullshit that they're doing. Mafiathons. Well, some call it begathons, but it's about right.
Which is to rein in on this parade of finding fulfillment through your work. Instead, I want to try and convince you that what you want instead is a really boring job. A job that doesn't make you or anybody else excited. A job that nobody would dream of. So, it's time to learn how money works, which was made possible today by Morning Brew. Morning Brew is a completely free daily email that has quick in a way that states your day for lots of other because if you tell someone that you are a C-suite executive at a very corporate executive, which is enticing because these roles are tell suspect it is and a butt kissing needed to get the job what they are getting themselves in jobs because of prestige. It's actually with the but it is, and that you work executive at a very well corporate executive preferable over very attractive jobs out there that for a number using the sign up with the link below. There are lots of very attractive jobs out there that for a number of factors would appear to be preferable over very attractive jobs out there that for by using the sign up with the link below. There are lots of very attractive jobs out there that for a number of factors would appear to be preferable over
Okay, I'm recording. Just making sure.
for other jobs. There is being a doctor, lawyer, or high-level corporate executive, which is enticing because these roles are traditionally very well paid and are very well respected by society at large. If you tell someone that you are a C-suite executive at a Fortune 500 company, you are instantly going to get more respect than if you told them that you work in retail. Is this how it should be? Of course not. But it is, and people are willing to sacrifice a lot for that respect. These roles come with the expectation of very long and irregular hours, to say nothing of the years of grueling study or corporate butt kissing needed to get the jobs in the first place. Now, there's actually nothing wrong with these jobs. Most people know what they are getting themselves in for when they pursue these kinds of careers, and the trade-offs are clear. Most people do these jobs because of prestige, not because they love them. So what about jobs that people are more passionate about? The jobs that people would supposedly love to do? I am talking about jobs in the fields that people get excited about, like gaming, fashion, travel, and sports.
I can understand those. Sports, mainly. Fashion. Yeah, I understand all those, but you can't tell me you're going to find excitement out of, I don't know, being a fucking accountant. There's absolutely no fun out of being an accountant. It is one of the safest jobs by far, first of all. It is one of the most secure jobs out there. You will very likely find a job in accounting. There's going to be some fucking company that needs an accountant. Every day there's a new business getting started, so 100% you're going to need an accountant. But you can't tell me that there's an excitement on being an accountant at all, or most business related like majors that work in that field. What would be a good example of one that people would absolutely love waking up to? I can say, I don't know, being like a football star, like any type of sports star would be hella nice.
Imagine getting paid to make video games or attend fashion events around the world. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, no. Big name companies in aspirational industries are more often than not terrible places to work. The reason for this is simple. They know that people want to work for them, so if you as a worker aren't willing to put in unpaid overtime, deal with abusive management, and accept comparatively low pay, then there are dozens or sometimes even hundreds of equally qualified candidates who are willing to put up with these issues because they get to work what they thought would be their dream job. Turnover in these companies is extremely high, especially when it is considered that these businesses are attracting skilled career-driven workers, the type of worker that you might normally expect to stick around for longer than a regular employee. Now, of course, changing jobs regularly is actually a good idea. Employees that change companies on average every 2 years are paid significantly better than their peers who attempt to work for internal promotions, but you need to be quitting for the right reasons. Quitting your current job to start a new, more senior role at a company offering double your current salary is a great career move. Quitting your current job because you can't mentally handle another week of a coding crunch is probably going to stall your career development. Another reason it's best to avoid doing what you love for work is that you won't love it forever.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 40.
Even Even the most exciting jobs you can imagine have a lot of boring work that comes with them.
Dude, I cannot. I just now remember that there's one of the big things about like finding a job, like a very big. Sorry, let me fucking rethink. There's this one thing that comes with having like very like big jobs that people want. For example, being like an economist in, I don't know, New York City. It sounds nice because I fucking it sounds nice because apparently everyone wants to do that in economy. Well, as an economist, you want to work in New York City because I guess that's the best paying job apparently. But the thing is that there will be a company that is willing to pay you 40K a year when in reality you should be getting paid like, I don't know, $120,000 a year. But there's gonna be that one moron that, not moron, I guess. I guess he's getting experience. But there's gonna be the one person that will do it for the least amount of money possible for the same amount of work. Like, and that's the problem, that you can probably always find somebody that can do it cheaper and a better job than you if you hire from maybe another country. If you're doing something online, you can most definitely hire somebody from, I don't know, from India. Not India specifically, but I don't know, the UK, I guess. Not UK, fucking some second world country. I don't know, Czech Republic, for example. And they will probably do it cheaper and have very good quality. Instead of somebody that's wanting to get paid 120K out. Instead of somebody that, fucking hell, I can't fucking speak, dude. Oh my god, it's getting me stressed out. Instead of somebody that wants to get paid $120,000 a year. But yeah.
A video game tester will spend
fucking
most of their
speak.
time doing the same mission over and over again to make sure there are no bugs. And most people that work for NFL teams spend their days in an office answering emails just like everybody else. Even if a dream job does manage to live up to its hype initially, there is one surefire way to end up hating something you originally loved, and that is being forced to do it for 40 hours a week with the threat of homelessness hanging over you if you don't. Really, you are much
that is
better off working for
very
money
true.
and then using that money to enjoy things you love in your own time in your own way. Hopefully, I have convinced you that exciting jobs are not all that they seem, but surely that doesn't mean that a boring job is the best alternative, right? Well, they have a few big perks that a lot of people don't really consider. A boring job at a boring...
Dude, honestly, I feel like if you want to be happy in life, you will look to get a job that makes you. You will look to find a job that helps you balance life and work. So instead of working 40 hours a week, if you can find a well-paying job that will pay you the same amount for 20 hours a week instead of 40, you will 100% take the 20 hours a week for the same pay. Just because then you can balance everything out perfectly.
boring company will on average be easier to get than the rare, more prized jobs at exciting companies. Having more options available to you, especially early in your career, can be a big head start over your peers who wait it out or go through extended internships to get a traditional dream job. Boring jobs will also on average pay better. Ford's median
Most likely,
employee
yeah.
made $64,316 in 2018,
Damn.
including bonuses, overtime, and stock awards. GM's median employee made slightly more than $77,849. Tesla, a far more exciting business, paid its median employee just $56,163. This, of course, will not be true for every company, but again,
Yeah.
if there are more people that want to work at a company, then generally that company can get away with paying their workers less. This is even more apparent when we zoom out to look at entire industries. On average, web developers will earn more than game developers, a marketing manager for Exxon will earn more than a marketing manager for the Patriots, and an administrative assistant at a bank will earn more than an administrative assistant at Vanity Fair. If you are doing a job to make money, you should maximize the amount of money you can get for doing that job. You won't see the name on the side of your building from your desk anyway. Now, if making money isn't the most important thing for you when considering a career, a boring job still has its perks. Boring
Dude, if you're looking for a job, you're looking to make fucking money. There's no reason that you should be looking to do something that you love, but it makes you no fucking money. You could be like an art lover, like you love doing art, but if your art sells for like $10 and you sell it once every 6 months, you're not fucking eating. You're getting a side job until you get something that will get you money. You need a job that will get you money. And it might not be what you fucking love, but it will be what gets food in your mouth. So you'll do it regardless.
Jobs are just genuinely more enjoyable. A boring company is more likely to be filled with employees and managers who realize that a job is something people do to put food on the table. This type of corporate attitude tends to result in more productive workplace relationships. A manager at a generic boring company that has been in their job for decades and has no ambitions of moving up the corporate ladder is not going to take it personally when you ask for a raise, a promotion, or a reference letter. Contrast that with a company where the management has drunk the "we are changing the world" Kool-Aid, and you are much more likely to face opposition when doing these things that all employees should really be doing as regularly as possible. Time and time again, we hear stories about high staff turnover and toxic workplace culture in companies that sound exciting from the outside. This is because when managers believe what they are doing is more important than just working a job to make a living, they naturally expect their colleagues to work harder than should reasonably be expected to. Toxic workplace cultures are almost inevitable in environments where managers will think to themselves that straight-up verbal abuse is really just a heated disagreement amongst peers who are too passionate about what they do.
I find it funny that I don't know if it's just me, but I find it funny that there will be, I guess, managers that will yell at like a 15-year-old, 16-year-old that is having their first job at McDonald's just because he was, I don't know, fucking a little bit late. Or I guess he just doesn't care that much to work. No, sorry. Or he just doesn't want to pick up 40 hours a week while he's 16 to work at McDonald's to maybe be a manager. Like, all that stress that comes with working, like, fast food for very little pay does not make you happy at all. If I'm getting stressed out, I'm making sure I'm getting paid good at least.
Types of managers are also much more likely to go unchecked in exciting fields because, again, staff turnover is not a big deal when there is an endless line of new candidates. Now, before anybody says it in the comments,
okay, if there's one AI site builder you need to meet, it's this dope tech from Wix.
yes, you're absolutely right. There are great managers and there are terrible managers in every kind of company, but you are much more likely to run into one in a job that you thought was going to be exciting. And that's the biggest bonus of a boring job: better management on average. That boring company manager from earlier that has been at their job for a decade will have one big advantage over the manager from an exciting company with high staff turnover: they will have more experience at their job. Working for a manager that has seen every possible problem the job can throw at them is going to be a much more pleasant experience than working for a manager who is figuring it out as they go along. A more experienced manager also has less to prove. If they feel secure in their own position, then they won't feel the need to work their employees to the bone to avoid becoming one of those turnover statistics themselves. Last month, I made a video about why management is always terrible, and the reason that video was so important is because people don't quit jobs. They quit managers. Even the best...
That is fucking true. There's a lot of people that will quit their job because their managers were absolutely fucking horrible. The worst fucking manager you can fucking think of will be in charge of you, and they will make the worst fucking decisions. I've seen or heard of so many people that have quit their jobs because their manager was just absolutely fucking garbage. Like, this can be in many ways. Maybe you're not getting enough shifts, or maybe he's just like, I don't even know, for like very like, I guess corporate level companies or like financial institutions, how it would be like for managers to be kind of shitty ones, just not realistic with deadlines, I guess. It's just a bunch of things that can happen that will make you want to hate a fucking manager, and then because of that, hate your fucking job. So managers can really change how you look at your job, 100%.
Most exciting job in the world would quickly become unbearable with a useless manager that takes their shortcomings out on their workers. Working a boring job gives you a better chance of finding a good manager who will make your time at work not totally miserable, and also help to progress your career so that you can make more money and use that to enjoy the hobbies that other people were dumb enough to try and build a career around. I have a theory about why we all love movies like Office Space or TV shows like Parks and Rec and The Office so much. These shows all highlight the realities of a boring workplace to a comically ridiculous degree, but at the same time,
The
they're
Office.
also very comfortable places to work. The people stick around,
All the people in the office were absolutely fucking miserable, but no one really wanted to quit. That's the truth of it. Because they needed money. And if they pay well, they will stay at that place for a long time.
and even the bad guy bosses are not abusive towards their employees. Maybe this is an indictment on how low the bar is for what we consider comfortable working arrangements in America. But I think it's something more. We turn to these kinds of shows for comfort binge watching. We wouldn't do that if we didn't secretly think that maybe working alongside these people in these boring offices wouldn't be such a bad thing. Now, if you want to learn more about why good managers are so hard to come by, go and watch my video on why company management is always terrible.
I don't know what you could do to be a good manager. Honestly, if I was a manager, it depends to what kind of company I would be for me to be a good manager. But I'm not gonna lie, if I was a manager to many locations, I would fuck up their business. I would not be a good manager. I fucking know. I hate communicating. Not hate communicating. I'm just bad at it. I just stutter way too much, and it's something that I just babble. So probably won't have the best communication. I don't want to be a conversation. I don't want to be a conversation starter. I don't want to be a conversation starter. So probably not the best option to be a manager. But yeah, besides that, amazing video, I loved it. And going on to our next one. Fucking managers, dude. They have so much power. Alright, let's go on to our next one.
Does a rising tide really lift all boats? Well,
Shut
rising
up.
tides can do a lot of things.
The best value and tools just arrived near you. There's a new Harbor Freight store packed full of quality
Tijuana.
Alright. So we're going to be watching. Sorry. So we're going to be watching the most dangerous cities in the world by simple visuals. All right, let's see.
Tijuana, Mexico. Tijuana sits right on the U.S. border, a gateway city where opportunity collides with desperation. For the cartels, it is the crown jewel, one of the most valuable trafficking corridors in the world. Cocaine,
seems like
meth, heroin, and fentanyl flow north, while cash and weapons come south. Control over this border means power, and that makes Tijuana one of the deadliest cities on earth. Rival cartels fight openly in the streets. Assassins patrol neighborhoods, and shootouts erupt in bars, markets, and even near schools. The murder rate in Tijuana has increased to thousands per year, making it statistically more dangerous than many war zones. Victims are often not just gang members. Ordinary residents, shop owners, and bystanders get caught in the crossfire. Police forces are underfunded, and corruption runs deep, leaving people with little trust in justice.
Dude, that would suck if you were getting robbed and you see a police car pulling up next to you and they just stare at you. I would fucking move out the next day. Like, pack up my shit, sell everything, and just fucking move out to maybe the same country but just completely different place. Because if I saw a police officer just see me get robbed and they don't do anything because they're part of it too, in a way, that'd be fucking horrible.
Locals, survival means adapting. Many avoid going out at night, paying protection fees, or simply staying silent. For visitors, the danger is not always visible. But just beyond the tourist districts, families live in constant fear. Tijuana is Mexico's most violent city. Caracas, Venezuela. Caracas has lived through one of the most dramatic rises in urban violence of the modern era. Venezuela's economic collapse triggered hyperinflation, shortages of food and medicine, and the breakdown of institutions that once kept order. In that vacuum, gangs and armed groups...
If you have an institution that doesn't do shit, yes, of course, you're gonna burn it down. They're clearly not fucking doing anything regardless, so you might as well do it.
Groups known as collectivos expanded their control, often acting with political connections. The homicide rate in Caracas has repeatedly ranked among the highest worldwide. Kidnappings, robberies, and carjackings are common, and many residents avoid public transport after
I will
dark.
get so mad,
Even during the
honestly.
day, streets that were once safe can change quickly. Police forces are often implicated in the violence, with special units accused of carrying out extrajudicial killings during raids in poor neighborhoods. For families, survival often means leaving. Hundreds of thousands of people have fled Caracas for Colombia, the United States, and beyond, seeking safety and stability. Those who remain live with restrictions imposed not by government, but by gangs, with
Honestly, when you look at their situation, I don't blame them for leaving. If you could just walk in the street and then just get shot or get recruited to be in the cartel, doesn't seem fucking safe at all. I might as well just move. Some country will accept me, so might as well take my chances and just go.
local bosses deciding when shops open and when residents can move freely. Caracas continues to operate as the political and economic heart of Venezuela, but its reputation is shaped by statistics that show violence at a level few other cities in the world have ever experienced. Aleppo,
Horrible.
Syria.
It was just
Aleppo
poor.
was once a jewel of civilization, one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world. For centuries, its markets bustled with traders, its mosques and churches stood side by side, and its citadel towered above the skyline. But in 2012,
Syria.
Aleppo became the epicenter of Syria's brutal civil war. The battle for Aleppo lasted years and became one of the bloodiest urban conflicts of the 21st century.
What were they
Government
fighting
forces,
for?
rebels, and foreign powers fought street by street, neighborhood by neighborhood. Airstrikes flattened entire districts, artillery turned apartment blocks into rubble, and civilians were trapped in sieges where food and water became weapons. Hospitals were deliberately bombed, and aid convoys struck.
Why the fuck would you bomb a fucking hospital? What's the point of bombing a fucking hospital? If you end up getting hurt, if your own troops get hurt around there, there will be no one to fucking save them. So why bomb a hospital? That's so fucking stupid. You will get the other side. No, you will get your own side turning against you for doing those stupid ass decisions.
Struggled to reach the starving. When the city finally fell to government forces in 2016, Aleppo was no longer the city it had been. Tens of thousands had been killed, and millions displaced. Today, some residents have returned to rebuild, but danger still lingers. Mines, unexploded shells, and instability make recovery slow and perilous. Aleppo is not dangerous because of gangs or crime. It is dangerous because war tore apart its foundations. Chernobyl, Ukraine. Chernobyl became a synonym
Chernobyl's
for
different.
danger after the catastrophic nuclear accident of April 1986.
Yeah.
When reactor number 4 at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant exploded, it released radioactive material that spread across Europe. The nearby city of Pripyat was evacuated within 36 hours, and the broader exclusion zone was created soon after. Tens of thousands left their homes, never to return. Radiation turned Chernobyl into a ghost city. Buildings remain abandoned, classrooms still contain children's notebooks, and amusement rides rust in silence.
I feel like there has to be that one person that's just walking around, just trying to look for haunted places, I guess, in Chernobyl, Ukraine. There has to be that one guy that was oblivious to the whole Chernobyl accident, that he just walked in there and they just got the worst fucking radiation poisoning you can think of. Would I hit me with knowing?
While levels of radiation have decreased over time, dangerous hotspots persist. Forest fires occasionally re-release radioactive particles into the air, and contaminated soil and water remain long-term hazards. After Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022, Chernobyl once again became unstable. Military activity inside the exclusion zone disturbed contaminated ground, raising concerns about renewed radiation exposure. Workers at the site were held under harsh conditions, highlighting how the zone remains vulnerable decades later. Chernobyl today is visited by researchers, soldiers, and tourists on controlled trips, but it remains one of the most dangerous urban areas ever created, not because of crime or war alone, but because the land itself has been poisoned by human technology and can never be fully restored to safety.
Yo, even though it's radiation, there has been a lot of sites of animals that just like kind of like walk around or living inside of those areas. Like, I made a video about it. I don't know when it's gonna get published. I had like 70 videos that are yet to be published, but there's a lot of animals in Chernobyl that are still alive or that have mutated in certain ways that they look fucking amazing. Like ants, spiders, I think like a catfish that grew up to like, I don't know, fucking 7 feet wide. I don't know. They're not supposed to get that big. They're like bigger than you.
St. Louis, United States.
St.
St.
Louis,
Louis
ooh.
consistently records the highest homicide rate of any major city in the United
Really?
States. With a population of fewer than 300,000, the number of murders each year
Oh my
gives
God.
the city a rate higher than many Latin American capitals. The
What the
violence is
fuck?
concentrated
The
in
US?
specific neighborhoods, often tied to decades of segregation, poverty, and disinvestment. Gun violence is the dominant threat. Drive-by shootings, retaliatory killings, and disputes fueled by drugs and turf wars leave entire communities traumatized. Families in the most affected areas adjust routines around safety, teaching children to avoid certain blocks and to stay indoors when the sun sets. Police
That's
efforts have
horrible.
been hampered by strained community relations. Allegations of
By
misconduct and
community. Are they fucking retarded? Is that community fucking retarded? You're telling me that their own community is just stopping the police from doing their jobs. Alright. If that's what you guys want.
racial bias have left deep mistrust, while officers themselves face understaffing and limited resources. Federal programs and community-led initiatives attempt to curb violence, but progress is uneven. St. Louis's downtown and tourist areas remain relatively secure, but the divide inside the city is sharp. For many residents, danger is not spread evenly across the map, but concentrated in neighborhoods where generations have grown up with violence as a constant presence. Acapulco, Mexico. Acapulco once sparkled as the jewel of the Pacific.
Yes,
Celebrities,
I remember it.
politicians, and the wealthy flocked to its beaches, filling hotels that symbolized glamour and escape. But beneath the glitter, poverty spread across the hillsides, and when Mexico's drug routes shifted, Acapulco became the new front line of cartel wars.
Oh my
Today,
God.
Acapulco has one of the highest homicide rates in the world. The same beaches that once hosted Hollywood stars are now lined with police checkpoints. Cartels fight
Really?
not only for drug shipments.
This is my favorite dentist hack to clean my retainer. If you wear a retainer every night like I do, you know how hard it is.
But also for control of neighborhoods, extortion rackets, and even small businesses.
Extortion.
Restaurant owners are forced to pay protection money, bus drivers are threatened, and anyone who refuses risks becoming another statistic in a city drowning in bloodshed. For residents, danger is everywhere. Shootings
Oh my
erupt
God.
in broad daylight, kidnappings target workers and tourists,
Broad
and
daylight's
bodies are
crazy.
sometimes left in public as warnings. The government has deployed soldiers to the streets, yet violence persists, fed by corruption and the sheer profitability of the drug trade. Acapulco's story is tragic. A place once known for beauty and wealth now makes headlines for murder and fear. Gaza, Palestine.
Oh
In
my
most
God.
cities,
This is
danger comes
recent.
from gangs, crime, or poverty. But in Gaza, danger comes from the skies, the sea, and the land all at once.
Oh my
For
God.
nearly 2 million people packed into one of the most densely populated areas on Earth, survival has become a daily struggle. Homes are destroyed by airstrikes, streets are shattered by shelling, and hospitals collapse under the weight of thousands of wounded. Today, Gaza is recognized by leading human rights groups, genocide scholars, and international legal bodies as the site of an ongoing genocide.
Yeah.
Amnesty International and the International Association of Genocide Scholars have concluded that Israel's actions meet the legal definition under the UN Genocide Convention. The International Court of Justice has ordered urgent measures to prevent further atrocities. Water, food, and electricity are scarce, and families face starvation as infrastructure is systematically destroyed.
Dude, the one thing that I don't get is that yes, they do suffer from not getting water, food, and stuff like that. But they prevent. I've heard, I might be wrong, but I've heard of like many like military personnel preventing trucks with food, water, and all the resources to go into the cities or to the, I guess, facilities that hold these people that try to help them, and they don't give them any food just because they don't let the trucks go into them. I don't know why, but I might be wrong, but fuck it. Guys, so I feel bad for them. They're going through like fucking massive starvation, famine.
Children grow up knowing little but war and loss. Gaza is not dangerous because of gangs or crime. It is dangerous because daily life itself has been turned into a struggle for survival under genocide. Cape Town, South Africa. Cape
Really?
Town is
Cape
known
Town.
for its mountains, beaches, and wine estates. But beyond the tourist image lies one of the most violent urban environments in the world. Gang
did not know
warfare
that.
dominates large parts of the Cape Flats,
Cape
a
Flats.
sprawling area shaped by apartheid-era forced removals. Poverty, unemployment, and overcrowding created fertile ground for organized crime, and today, dozens of gangs compete for territory. Shootings are a regular occurrence, often in broad daylight, and sometimes involving automatic weapons. Children walk to school through streets where stray bullets are a constant threat.
Really?
Residents in certain neighborhoods avoid leaving home after dark, while shopkeepers and taxi drivers pay protection fees to survive. The police presence is heavy, but trust is low. Corruption scandals and allegations of excessive force undermine community cooperation. Military
Oh my
deployments have occasionally been used to stabilize neighborhoods, but violence
They have
continues to
military?
shift from one area to another.
I don't know that.
Despite the violence, Cape Town remains South Africa's most visited city, with tourism concentrated in relatively secure areas. For many residents, however, life is lived under the shadow of gang conflict, where survival depends on navigating invisible borders drawn not by governments, but by criminal organizations. Kabul, Afghanistan.
Okay.
Kabul has
Okay,
experienced decades
Afghanistan.
of war, regime.
Dude, Afghanistan alone has been fucking destroyed for many years already, but I don't know why, so let's see.
Regime changes, and instability, making it one of the most volatile capitals in the world. Bombings and attacks have repeatedly struck government offices, schools, mosques, and crowded marketplaces. Ordinary commutes can turn deadly without warning. The city has changed hands many times, from Soviet occupation to civil war, Taliban control, NATO intervention, and the Taliban's return in 2021. Each shift has brought new rules and uncertainties. For residents, this means adapting constantly, adjusting to checkpoints, curfews, and shifting restrictions on daily life. Crime overlaps with politics. Extortion, kidnappings, and smuggling thrive in an environment where institutions are weak. Women face severe restrictions on work, education, and mobility, adding another layer of risk to everyday existence. Journalists and activists continue their work under constant threat of arrest or violence. Basic services struggle to function. Electricity is unreliable, healthcare is limited, and unemployment fuels desperation. For those with means, leaving is often the only option.
Yeah,
For
it
millions
sounds
of
like the best
others,
option.
life in Kabul continues under the weight of insecurity, where danger is not just a statistic, but an unavoidable part of the city's identity. San Pedro Sula, Honduras. For years, San Pedro Sula was labeled the murder capital of the world.
Really?
Located on a key drug transit route toward the United States, it became a battleground for gangs such as MS-13 and Barrio 18. These groups
How long ago
controlled
was this?
neighborhoods, imposed taxes on businesses and bus
Oh,
drivers.
yeah, dude. I know that MS-13 like just ceased to exist and sorry. I know that MS-13 stopped existing in El Salvador after Nayib Bukele took over presidency, but I forgot that there's probably still a lot of MS-13 gang members inside of Honduras because they can't really take them to prison if they're in Honduras. So it could still be growing, just not in El Salvador anymore. Now the murder capital is San Pedro Sula, Honduras. That kind of sucks.
And punished anyone who refused to pay with death. Homicide rates
Damn.
soared to some of the highest ever recorded in peacetime, with entire communities living under gang-enforced curfews. Families avoided specific streets, and children were recruited into criminal groups from an early age. Police
sucks.
forces, often underpaid and corrupt, were unable to provide consistent protection. In recent years, increased militarization and government crackdowns have reduced the official homicide rate, but the city remains dangerous. Extortion continues, disappearances are frequent, and violence shifts into new forms whenever pressure rises. For many residents, the only escape has been migration. Thousands left San Pedro Sula as part of the migrant caravans heading north, citing violence as the main reason. Those who remain adapt to a reality where gangs shape everyday life as much as official institutions. If you enjoyed this video,
Dude, I feel so bad. I feel so bad that there's people that just got kind of used to this. For example, like Gaza, I don't know, Afghanistan, there's people that have experienced so much violence that they just see it as normal. So if you hear a bomb going off and I don't know, they're making dinner, for example, they just keep making dinner because it's just another Tuesday, I guess. I feel bad for that, but I made some video and I was mostly surprised about Cape Town. I did not know Cape Town was that bad. I was under the impression that Cape Town was actually a pretty good country, but I guess not. All right, how many videos do we even look at? 1 second. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, Accidental forest. Alright, we're gonna react to one more.
Son un grupo de países que tienen mucho en común, tanto en pero no es lo único.
Okay, I can't watch this video. This video is fucking Spanish, dude. What the hell? Why are you in Spanish? I mean, yeah, the fucking thumbnails in Spanish. I should have known better. All right. So we're gonna be watching I Live in the Arctic Circle. Here's how much it costs by CNBZ Make It. All right.
I feel very welcome in Norway. People are very welcoming. I feel like it's my home. Yeah, I can ta vanlig. Yeah. I like the weather. I like the snow. I like the cold. I like the darkness. I like the northern lights. Svart Viking, you know, I'm a black Viking.
Black Viking.
Dried fish upon first try is not very good. But you just have to give it time. I sat in a prison cell, 6x9 cell for 5 years of my life. I wanted to see the world too. I just bet on myself and went for it all. My name is Robert E. Yarber. I'm 41 years old. I'm a bartender, bar manager in Tromsø, Norway, which is 220 miles above the Arctic Circle.
Relocated.
Obviously, the natural beauty of Norway is unmatched. A lot of people think that's crazy. You know, oh, but it's so cold, you would never go there for the weather. I went there for the weather. I wanted to live in the cold. I wanted to live in the north. I'm Jon Snow.
I do find it crazy that there's people that actually will move for cold weather. I feel like it's usually the opposite way. People would move to get like warmer weather, but this guy is a fucking exception. I love this guy. He's going for the cold.
North remembers. I'm a bar manager. I'm at Havlik Hotel.
Havlik.
It's a hotel and cafe. It's a really nice bar. It just looks very regal when you come in.
Sounds nice.
Typical day in my life looks like going to work. I try to stay in shape, go to the gym. I meet friends, you know, it might be go to a cafe, have a chai latte. People are visiting, my family might be in town. I might do some touristy things. Urge. It was actually made by Coca-Cola for Norway. And then in the States, they called it Surge. Very popular in Norway. Tromsø is also known as the Paris of the North. It's becoming more and more a tourist town. You have foreigners, you have tourists.
Okay.
Yeah.
This guy's actually like the cold part of fucking Norway. For this guy, all year round is probably fucking freezing. But I guess he likes it. And then there's a lot of people that live in there, so I'm guessing it's not so bad.
The University of Tromsø, so you have students. You know, there's a McDonald's here, the world's northernmost McDonald's. Being so far above the Arctic Circle, it gets very cold in Tromsø. We have 24-hour sunlight, the midnight sun in the summer.
Sunlight.
We have the polar night in the winter. We have the northern lights in the winter from September to March. The cold, it could be -10, -15, -20. But you know, as they say in Norwegian,
negative fucking 20 degrees weather. Fuck no. I'm okay with a little bit cold, like some chilly. 30 degrees, 40 degrees, 50 degrees. Alright, that's reached my max. Negative 20 degrees? That's fucking insane.
There's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing.
Hej, bad clothing.
Jag heter Robert.
Maybe that's
Välkommen till mitt hem.
Come. Norway.
My rent is 9,900 kroner a month. It's roughly around $1,000 a month. I pay more of a premium in order to have my own place. As a result, I don't always have a ton of extra money to spend.
This is my home. It's very cozy. This is my cozy kitchen. One of the cool things about Norway is Scandinavian architecture. It always seems to maximize your space and give you the most of what you have. So then we have my bedroom, which is not very big, but it's big enough for me. I'm actually not quite sure how they got the bed in there. It can never come out.
Yeah, the fucking good point. How did they even get the thing in there? Oh yeah, probably sideways, but still. It feels like so like claustrophobic. My room is not even that big. but it's not that small. Like I have a very small room. I have a green screen apparently. Can't show you guys, but I'd love to show you guys another day. But I have a pretty decent sized room, but this guy is just living claustrophobia.
This is my bathroom. One cool thing is that I never lived in a house with heated bathroom floors until Norway.
Heated bathroom
This is
floors.
very standard in Norway.
Okay, that's cool. I didn't know that.
I make roughly 260 Norwegian kroner an hour, which is about $26 in the US. My work-life balance
That's pretty
in
good.
Norway versus America is a lot different. My typical work hours per week are around 35. Your work schedule
35.
legally has to be out 2 weeks in advance, and it cannot be changed for you or against you without your consent and permission.
Dude, that's fucking amazing. 2 weeks in advance that you know what days you're gonna work. I mean, that can be good and bad, but they can't change it without your consent. So let's say if they accidentally staff too much people, fuck it. You take the hit. Big loss, doesn't matter. Damn, but then again, Norway's fucking taxes are through the fucking roof, so $26, probably more like $13.
That's really freeing. It's something I'm not used to. In America, I'm used to schedule comes out Sunday for Monday. The one thing I missed about living in the
Yeah.
US is cash money tips. I make less money overall, but I make more
Probably.
consistent money. In Norway, you get paid once a month. Tips aren't really a thing.
once
You
a
do
month.
make a living wage. No issues there. It took a lot of money management training to figure out how to get paid once a month and to be able to pay all my bills and to still have food and money coming at the end of the month. I pay, 32 to 34% taxes, as does everybody else.
32 to
Depending on how much money you make, you can pay up to
34%, okay.
50% taxes. But that tax money goes to work by paying for surgeries when you need it, paying for medication, paying for rides to the hospital and back, sick leave. It just shows that it's a country that really cares about its people and isn't trying to use everything to make money.
Honestly, I kind of love that. But then again, getting paid once a month for. If you get paid once a month, that means if you get paid once a month, that means that you have to be really good at money managing. Because let's say you spend too much money 1 week, you're fucked for the rest of the month. You can't make bills. You can't pay bills until next week. No, you can't pay bills if you fuck up until next month, until you get your next paycheck and maybe like pay back. But I don't know, man. I feel like bi-weekly for me would be the best, or weekly or bi-weekly, but monthly, I'm not sure about that.
Sometimes services are required and those services just require money. Everything doesn't need to earn money back, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't have any savings. I'm kind of a live by the moment guy. I should be having a savings, and maybe it's this trauma from being in prison for so long and just wanting to
looks
see the
beautiful,
world.
to be
I've now
honest.
traveled to 44 countries. I spend my money on
44
travel.
countries.
If I got extra money, I'm traveling. I just want to see the world.
That's beautiful.
What if you can create
love
your
that.
own website by saying, this is what I want? With Wix, you can.
Also, I feel like this guy is living the dream life because 44 countries that you have visited, and you're living a happy life where you get paid, in which you don't have to work that many hours. 35 doesn't seem like that many hours that you need to work in order for you to live the life that he's living. Maybe it's not enough to support a family, but if you and your partner work, you can probably make it, honestly. And just having the opportunity to visit that many countries, that's a fucking goal that many people will not complete in their lifetime. Many people will complete less than 10 countries in their fucking lifetime. This guy already completed like 1/4 of the world. Very big achievement, man.
I grew up wanting to be the next player in the NFL, and I had my first knee surgery my junior year of high school,
Ugh.
my second knee surgery on the same knee about 18 months later, my freshman year of college. And the football dreams faded away.
Yeah.
There's fisticuffs happening, and I managed to get out of the house. I make it to the car, I'm sitting there, and I'm like, man, I could get in the car and drive away. This is my best friend at the time, it's my roommate, and he's still in there all by himself with nobody to help him. So I open up my trunk, I'm in co-ed softball league. I got 2 baseball bats. My 21-year-old mind It's like, you know what? Grab both of these baseball bats. I'm gonna run in this house. I'm gonna save him. I'm gonna be the hero. They called the cops on us. Then I went to prison. I went to the Oregon State Penitentiary, which is the only maximum security prison in the state of Oregon. I did 4 years there. When I got out and I was trying to get a job, I couldn't get a job. So I tried for all the jobs I wanted to get, couldn't get those. Tried for all the jobs I didn't want, couldn't get those. And then I ended up selling cocaine for a couple years. Then I get caught up again for that. Now I'm getting delivery of cocaine, possession of cocaine. And the judge, she gave me 18 months, which with good time was 14 months. I got out for the last time in March of 2014, and that's the very last time I've ever been in trouble. I told myself, and I did, I would never sell drugs again. That's a losing game. I definitely was scared straight.
Scared straight, damn.
I had been in the service industry ever since I had my second knee surgery. Dishwashing, hosting, serving, bar.
I'm actually very happy that they were able to give this guy a second opportunity to kind of restart his life. Because not many people will hire a felon that was convicted for assault and because they were selling fucking cocaine out on the streets. The fact that Norway decided to hire this guy, I'm actually very happy about him. He seemed to like actually turn his life around. I'm actually pretty happy about that.
Bartending. And so that's pretty much what I was doing. You know, I was in a relationship and I had promised her that I would take her to Norway. We broke up and I figured, you know what? I did a lot of research about this place. I don't have no real reason to stay here. I'm gonna go. I sat in a 6x9 cell for 5 years of my life. It felt like a lot of life had passed me by. I wanted to see Paris, London, Berlin, and swim in the Mediterranean, check out the Dead Sea. I wanted to see all that stuff with my eyes. I didn't want to watch it on TV. I wanted to see it in person.
Right there, a skilled work visa.
To get a skilled worker visa in Norway, you have to show that you have skills. And it's very difficult to get one as a bartender. I went to European Bartender School. I took their course. I did a whole bunch of different courses. And, you know, I had a lot of certifications from the best #1 bartender school in the whole world to show that I was very skilled at what I do.
Okay, that's cool.
I
bartend too. I have bartended before. Maybe not at classy bars, more like party bars. But bartending is a pretty fun job, to be honest. Or at least where I am. Maybe to like restaurant-wise, not the best environment. Or I guess like kind of stressful at times to be a bartender. But let me say, bartending for me at like a nightclub in Long Island was probably fucking best work experiences I've had. My favorite job, hands down. Fucking amazing work, people, managers, the experience, and the hours were fucking amazing. The pay was fucking incredible for someone that was like freshly 18, 19. It was a family bar, that's why I was able to bartend, because if you work with someone that's 21, you're able to bartend under their supervision. But besides that, I fucking love bartending.
Norska Prova, which is the Norwegian language test and social studies test so that I can become a permanent resident. I live in Norway. I'm committed to one day speaking everything in Norwegian. Living in Norway long term is the ultimate goal. When I came here, I wanted to become a permanent resident. I wanted to become a citizen. That's always been the goal, to be able to have the next line of my family be half Norwegian citizens, half American citizens, to give them the luxury and freedom to be able to travel and work all over the United States and its territories and all over Europe. I would like to get my Norwegian driver's license, so I would be able to drive all around Europe. So that's a goal. Other than that, I guess I would like to buy a flat one day, maybe 20% down. So, you know, I need to start saving.
Yes, a little less traveling maybe. I like this guy. This guy was so cool. Very peaceful, honestly, and I'm actually happy that he turned his life around. But my question is, I don't know, my question is just out of curiosity, is there a lot of black Norwegians in Norway? Is that a thing? Is there like more than, I don't know, 7% of the population is black? Because whenever I picture someone be from Norway, it's just pale, straight pale men. Let me look it up. Alright, hold on, 1 second. Let me look it up. Let me check. Alright. So I asked it, how much of Norway's population is black? And it's about 3% of the population, 165,000. There's not really a set number for black people, but it is an estimate of 2 to 3% of black population based on Wikipedia. But it's mostly immigrants. But yeah, honestly, that's actually pretty cool. You're kind of like a minority, and you're still, I guess, loved in a way. I don't know if Norway's racist, to be honest, so I might be just speaking just to speak, but I don't think I've ever heard of Norway being racist. But yeah, man, amazing video, and yeah. Alright, let me finish that up. Whew. Alright, it's 9 o'clock. Alright, what I'm going to do is gonna edit some videos. Edit this shit. I have to catch a flight tomorrow early in the morning, so I have to go to sleep. I have to deal with some fuck ass people that stole my car. That's a fucking story for another day. Fucking Rochester City, never go there. Not a safe place. Fucking New York, Rochester, never go there in your fucking life. That place is a shithole. Shit ton of crime, and honestly, no surprise that it was on the list of most dangerous cities. Fucking stepped foot in there. My first day, got my car stolen. I had to find out where it fucking is. Fuck that city. Fuck this. And to the guy that fucking stole my car, fuck you. Oh shit, my shirt. That's cool. Anyways, see you guys in the next one. I'm gonna stop streaming just because I had shit to do. See you guys.